Hi everyone, this is Brian, aka Bfunkphenomenon, coming at you with the Downstroke. Footage from 2 different sessions I would like to show you to illustrate a little of the downstroke and its application. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I start off with a downstroke on the 1, then a slight turn on the front wheels, followed by a single dribble on count number 3. And count number 4 is a pause, or as I like to refer to as a double up. And you can extend that to triples and so on. Regarding that last move on count number 4, some folks might be familiar with the term pump. But that kind of gives me flashbacks to those hideous 1980s aerobic classes. And when you start associating a move like that with a pump or pumpy kind of thing, it messes up your flow and your funkiness. So, my advice, do not call it a pump. Now in just a second I'm going to add a variation to this basic pattern. And it happens on the last count where I switch the double up for a solistic shift. And this is one of the reasons why I take an oblique position when drilling this riff, and in general executing solistic shifts. Too many times I see folks doing similar moves, but then in frontal position, and then trying to move awkwardly to the side. Not practical, certainly not funky, but even more important, potentially damaging for the knee joints. To quickly mention one of many reasons, the patellofemoral ligament, which runs over the kneecap, is under tremendous pressure. And you don't want to challenge that any more than necessary. And moving sideways in an oblique position helps to manage the pressure on the knee joints. The next variation coming up in a second is a kickback on count number 4. And this sets up the upper body in a more provocative position for the next variation, which is a leg lift. But first I use this kickback as a primer for the brain and sort of a prep move to play with upper body positioning. Focusing on still doing the downstroke on the 1 helps the trainees to not lose flow, form and function, or at least not too much, or work on the ability to bounce back on track a lot faster in case of any balance disturbance. Keeping this riff in a 4-count set helps to mix up all these variations, and even more if you will, in random order. Just pick a few variations before you start your drill and mix them up randomly. Stay on the beat, in the groove, and keep your flow. Jana in the front, Giovanna in the back, and even Jamie, who is downstroking himself in and out of frame, they are all doing a good job, and surprisingly keeping excellent flow, form and function. Although I'm not going too much into the technicality of the downstroke, I do want to mention that the stroke movement downwards comes from the hips, and not so much from bending the knees. In the following footage you'll see why knee bending action should be limited to a minimum to get the desired effects of the downstroke. When the downstroke mainly comes from the hips, it puts the front skate that crosses the standing leg in a favorable position for all sorts of cool follow-ups, such as this turn. Now I've changed the drill from an oblique position to a frontal position, and that's to not confuse the brain more than it already is when incorporating a turn like this in a drill. The next level, of course, would be to change positions and directions. But first, correct foot placement, creating momentum, and finding lightness in being in motion and on beat is our main focus. When you're getting into turns and shifts, you really don't want to leave it up to faith and hope all ends well. No, you want to know exactly what you're doing and make sure you can replicate and improve whatever it is that you're onto. And that is essentially how you build a locomotive vocabulary that fits the structure and characteristics of your physical capabilities. This approach will open up a world of interesting possibilities, transitions, and cool moves that will grow your flow safe and effectively. Now let's not forget the brain. In the midst of all this, the brain is front and center of everything you do on your roller skates. Your brain is biased by nature and constantly scanning for danger. So you have to trick and hack your brain on a regular basis to get the electric pulses right and funky with you. One way to do that is to choose the right music. Unfortunately, because of copyright issues, I cannot let you hear the music that is played in this footage. But It's James Brown and the JBs, and I can tell you that is not a coincidence. So for now, I wish you all to get on the good foot and have a safe and funky practice both on and off wheels. I hope this video adds a little to your motivation and knowledge. And feel free to push all the buttons on this channel that will help and support my work. Just know that I appreciate it. Please be safe and catch you on the next one.